Are you starting your journey on Honkai Star Rail now and you are wondering who are the best characters you could try to get and pull? Or who knows, you are someone who plays the game on a daily basis and you are looking to know more about a character that you maybe try to pull on a rerun. In this video, I will give you all my top 10 best 5-star characters that you can invest in Honkai Star Rail, being an F2P, new player, or even low spender. I already did this type of video for Genshin, and at the moment I'm working on a 4-star version as well. And just like I did with other videos of this type, I'll be listing these characters having in consideration tier lists and MOC or pure fiction uses rates. But the biggest factor in this list will be my opinion. This shouldn't define if you should or not pull for these characters, especially if you like them. Remember, every character can be used and can work in your account if you dedicate your time into it. Just before the video starts, I want to remind you all to leave your like and a sub. 93% of you are not subscribed, and it motivates me a lot seeing you all showing your support. I always try my best to provide the best guides and creative videos in general for you. All my links are in the description for those who are curious. And for those who want to support me even more, you can always become a member. Without any furthers, let's go to the ranking. For the first honorable mention, I decided to give it to Luocha. Luocha is an imaginary character that follows the path of abundance, and it's focused on healing your team with his auto heals while generating skill points and removing buffs from enemies. Luocha will always be good at doing his job of sustaining the team. He has an amazing auto heal that triggers without consuming skill points, making him extremely skill point friendly for your team, while also having an amazing AoE dispel on his ultimate to remove enemy buffs, which can come in handy especially against enemies with annoying buffs. And for those reasons, he will always prove to be extremely comfy and easy to play with. Some things that made me consider Luocha as just an honorable mention are related to what he doesn't provide, since he doesn't do anything more than sustaining the team, making his offensive and support utility lower than newer sustained characters. Another thing that may be hard to deal with sometimes is not having a panic heal. It already happened to me sometimes where his auto heal is on cooldown and I really need to heal a character, and all I can do is just pray for the enemies to not attack that specific ally. Luocha's value is going down over time as sustained characters continue to get more features on their kit than just healing. And thanks to all of these factors, I believe Luocha is just worth of an honorable mention. For the second honorable mention, we have our favorite hacker, Silverwolf. Silverwolf is a quantum character that follows the path of nihility, and it's focused on applying so many debuffs on your enemy that he reaches the same situation as your PC when you install some virus. Silverwolf can provide you with a tons of breaking thanks to her skill and ultimate, while also being able to apply debuffs such as reduced attack and speed, something that isn't that much common in other nihility characters. But even though she applies a lot of debuffs that can amplify your damage, her best quality is giving enemies new weaknesses, which enable teams with only a single type or the so famous mono quantum team. But if Silverwolf is on the honorable mentions, it's because she has some flaws, right? Yes. Silverwolf, just as the gamer she is, she likes to play gacha games a lot, and you will find yourself totally reliant on pure luck to land the type weaknesses you want, potentially turning your Silverwolf in a skill point hitting machine. And even though she works totally well at E0, I do believe Eidolons improve a lot her capabilities. Due to all of this, even though Silverwolf is an amazing character I do recommend everyone to have at some moment on their account, I believe she deserves only an honorable mention. For the third and last honorable mention, we have a super flexible character, Blade. Blade is a wind character that follows the path of destruction, and it's focused on dealing damage based on his ultimate, basic attacks and follow-ups while consuming his own HP. Blade has an excellent self-sustain, thanks to his HP scaling, allowing him to tank more hits than other DPS characters would, and he does a good amount of damage in pretty much all scenarios, while also being super skill point friendly and not depending on his ultimate to do a lot of damage. But even though Blade can heal himself decently well, you need to pair a strong healer with him to keep him alive at times while you also maximizing his damage. Blade also requires a lot of investment if you are looking to maximize his damage while also not being too squishy. Also does not benefit from attack buffs thanks to his HP scaling, which limits the harmony units that can support him. Blade is a solid character that can help your team by dealing some damage, and even though it's not as great as other hyper carries, he barely consumes skill points to compensate that. And for these reasons, I believe Blade is a good character overall and a suitable character for the last honorable mention of this video. Now, for the list itself, we are starting with the 10th place, and in my opinion, I think it should go to Argenti. Argenti is a physical character that follows the path of erudition, and it's focused on obliterating everything with his massive ultimate. Argenti has one of the strongest AoE damage potential in the game, while also being decent for single target scenarios. He's at the moment the only character with 2 ultimates, which can help you in different situations. You can use the cheaper ultimate to finish off weaker opponents, and using the strong ultimate when you have a big wave of enemies. He also gets a lot of free crit rate from his talent, and compared to many other limited DPS, his Eidolons aren't that good, and is already strong at E0, having a kit that makes him stronger based on the number of enemies on the field. But Argenti suffers a little bit because his stronger ultimate has the absolute highest cost in the game. You will notice that his damage output will drop on turns where he doesn't have his ultimate, since the majority of this damage comes from it, and for all of these reasons, I believe Argenti is worthy of getting the 10th place of this list. For the 9th place, I will give it to Dunhang in Imbiber Lunate. Dunhang is an imaginary character that follows the path of destruction, and it's focused on dealing tons of damage at the cost of more than just one skill point. Dunhang IL has plenty of 4 stars and 5-star support options, has excellent base stats, and to complement even more his kit, his traces make hitting breakpoints easier. He also has a great single target and blast AoE damage, while also having an incredible high damage and burst potential. But he also requires a lot of skill to be played, since he's super skill point hungry and kinda selfish, limiting your team options by quite a lot. And something that is worth mentioning, especially for those players who play a lot on auto, since auto is cursed sometimes, you will eventually find yourself in situations where your supports used all of the skill points instead of your Dunhang. And for those reasons, I believe Dunhang is worth of staying on a 9th place. For the 8th place, we have the adorable and useful Woo-Woo. Woo-Woo is a wind character that follows the path of abundance, and it's focused on not only healing your team, but also providing you with energy and attack buffs. Woo-Woo has a great healing and sustain capabilities, healing almost the same as Luocha if you build her well, while also having extremely frequent debuff expels, helping your team a lot against characters with crowd control debuffs. Yeah, Kafka, Woo-Woo laughs at you for giving her teammate a free turn. She can also regenerate energy for other allies using her bursts, while also providing an attack buff, something that other sustains don't provide. But Woo-Woo can require more effort to be used compared to other top sustains, since her high energy cost for her ultimate can reduce the uptime of the attack buff she provides. Unlike Luocha, she cannot be fully skill point positive without sacrificing the ultimate uptime, making her sometimes harder to slot into whatever team you choose compared to other sustainers. Woo-Woo is an amazing healer that will for sure change the life of any player thanks to the cleanse, energy and attack buff she provides. But in my opinion, there is at least one more sustainer that can provide a bit more. For those reasons, I think Woo-Woo is deserving the 8th place. For the 7th place, we have the first 5-star we could pull on Penacony, Black Swan. Black Swan is a wind character that follows the path of Nihility and is focused on dealing a lot of damage with her Arcana while also providing tons of support capabilities for everyone. He's an extremely flexible character with high synergy with other DOT characters, but thanks to her AoE defense shred and defense ignore on DOT, she not only deals absolutely high damage, while also is an amazing sub DPS to basically any team. But Black Swan is not only good things. She is the character with one of the highest investment level between any character, also being one of the most complex units on the game that takes some time to learn how to actually use her correctly, which is funny since her damage is almost too high for anything outside of the endgame. But still, for a new player, she might be hard to use and understand, and for those reasons, is worth of having the 7th place. For the 6th place, we are going to talk about the mysterious yet deadly woman, Jingliu. Jingliu is a nice character that follows the path of destruction, and is focused on dealing tons of damage by consuming your team's HP and gaining a lot of stats. Jingliu is a mix of Blade with Dunhang. She deals the same damage or even more damage than Dunhang, while also having a similar skill point consumption to Blade, only taking her 2 skill points every maybe 3 turns, making her extremely flexible with a wide variety of teammates to choose, while also having a massive damage output compared to other hyper carries in the game, and to the absurd amount of free stats she gets. She's one of the best DPS characters for players that are super unlucky farming relics. But Jingliu also requires heavy investment into herself and the rest of her team, while also requiring knowledge and awareness of when to use the ultimate, since you can get an extra damage out of it if you cast it on specific moments. And her turn advance for free crits sometimes can end up being a problem thanks to the buff she will get. And for these reasons, I believe Jingliu is a solid pick for the 6th place. For the 5th place, we are going to talk about Sparkle. Sparkle is a quantum character that follows the path of Harmony and is focused on buffing your character crit damage while also providing tons of skill points for the team. It's completely skill point positive thanks to her ultimate regenerating a lot of skill points, making her super easy to slot anywhere. But Sparkle also requires significant investment for maximum returns, since you will need to balance speed and crit damage a lot, 2 of the most difficult stats you can get on relics. And for those reasons, I will give Sparkle the 5th place. For the 4th place, we are going to talk about Fushuan, the human shield. Fushuan is a quantum character that follows the path of preservation and is focused on preventing your team to take damage by mitigating damage. Fushuan can increase the max HP and crit rate passively with her skill while also providing crowd control immunity with each kill you use. Other sustainers rely on shields or heals to sustain, but Fushuan has a team-wide damage mitigation mechanic, where she taunts enemies to herself while also taking part of the damage your team takes. Since she has very high HP thanks to her scaling, she will most likely never die from mitigating damage for your team. But Fushuan also struggles with some things. She's not fully skill point positive like other supports, and her value is not as high in the early game since she needs all her skills leveled to reach her best potential. For now, Fushwan is the best sustainer we have in the game, providing a super comfy playstyle since you will most likely not see your team dying anytime soon, but she will need a lot of investment and dedication from your side. Thanks to these reasons, I think Fushwan is a good character to be on the 4th place. For the 3rd place, with a bronze medal, we are going to talk about her, Kafka. Kafka is a lightning character that follows the path of Nihility and is focused on being an enabler for any type of DOT teams. Kafka doesn't care about crit stats at all, being super easy for a new player to use and abuse, while also providing consistent damage output due to DOTs, both very strong in single target and AoE damage. And her biggest feature of the game is enabling a better playstyle for DOT, giving her an extreme value and possible super hard to power creep. But Kafka also needs a high investment for both her and her teammates, since the DOT damage will also depend on your teammates, while also wanting a lot of speed if you can get it. But in my opinion, her biggest con is only being viable for players who like or don't mind using DOT, because if you don't like this playstyle, she's not that useful for your account, making her worthy of the 3rd place. For the 2nd place, with the silver medal, we had the recently launched Acheron. Acheron is a lightning character that follows the path of Nihility, and it's focused on being a DPS thanks to her massive ultimate. Acheron has an unparalleled damage output, being stronger than other DPS we have currently on the game. She also has possibly the most observed self buffs in the game, giving herself a lot of damage multiplier increases. She has extremely versatile team options, while also dealing massive damage to both single targets and AoE, almost being an erudition and a hunt pet character all in one. She also has an instant kill technique that can also provide her a massive advantage in case the battle proceeds, and she will only improve over time with the launch of future units that synergize with her, but at the moment has very limited light gun options, while also benefiting a lot from the maximum investment into levels, trace and relics, making her hard to build especially for a new player, and she will end up preferring being paired with 2 Nihility characters to give her stacks and increasing her damage, leaving small rooms for team comps the newer player you are. Even though Acheron requires a lot of investment for you, she's for now the strongest DPS of the game, and if you do take your time, you will see a massive increase in her damage output. For all of these reasons, I believe Acheron is more than worthy of having the 2nd place on this list. And for last, on 1st place, with a gold medal, we have Ruan Mei. Ruan Mei is a nice character that follows the path of Harmony and is focusing on providing a lot of different buffs for your whole team. It's almost easier to ask what she doesn't provide to your team than what she can provide. Ruan Mei provides a permanent team-wide speed buff with almost permanent uptime on all her buffs. She can also contribute with a little bit of damage for your teams thanks to her res pen and the increasing breaking she provides. The best part of Ruan Mei is besides providing a break efficiency buff, something never seen before, all her buffs are universally used from all of the characters in the game, allowing her to be the best buffer for pretty much everyone, especially dual DPS teams. And her only con in my opinion is needing a lot of investment to reach her full potential, since you will need to have good stats and finding an accessible light gun for her can be hard depending on your luck. I consider Ruan Mei the best 5-star character by a mile of the game for now, and the owner of the gold medal on the 1st place. So, what do you think about this list? Do you agree with me? Or would you switch characters in here? Leave a comment talking about what you think. Just a reminder once again, this list doesn't mean you should only pull for these characters and skip others. Remember that if you like a character, no matter how bad others say they are, you should always pull and play with the characters you like. Share this video with everyone that needs to know who are the best 5-star characters to level up, especially at the early game. 93% of you are not subscribed, so please, it just takes some seconds of your life, and that way you will be able to enjoy any future content I post. A special thanks to my members for trying to support me, and thank you so much for staying until now. Catch you guys on the next one. Stay safe everyone. See ya!